اجازه دهید خاطره از رهبر شهید را که یکی از همراهانشان نقل کرده است با شما شریک کنم. کفش‌هایش دهان باز کرده بودند. قسمت رویی آن از قسمت کفیش کاملا جدا شده بود. وقتی راه می رفت هرچی خاک و خار بود می ولیدند. خاک و خار که الا ماشاءالله هرچی می دیدی دشت ها و تپه ها پر بود. انگار برای او فرش کرده است. به سر و صورت و لباس و کفش هایش که نگاه می کردی فکر می کردی فقیرتر و مظلومتر از او در کاروان پیدا نمی شود. دلت به حالش می سوخت، مخصوصا که ریش بلندش از بس که خاک می گرفت به رنگ زمین در می آمد. در کنارش سالها که راه می رفتی نمی شناختی، فقط وقتی حرف می زد تازه می فهمیدی که استاد است و جا می خوردی. 4000 تا کفش با خود داشتیم که به نیت مجاهدین می بردیم. هرچی اصرار می کردیم گوشش بدهکار نبود. کی بود که سرش تحمیل کند یکی از آن کفش ها را بپوشد؟ هر کس که زوری داشت به آبروی خرج کرد، اما حرف استاد یکی بود: بابه من اونا مال مجاهدینه، من حق پوشیدنش ندارم. آخر شما هم مجاهد هستید استاد. ابروهای پرپشتش در هم میپیچید و میگفت من اگر مجاهدم باید قانع باشم. نه، تسلیم شدنی نبود. آخر آبروی کل شیعیان و هزاره ها در میان بود. ما مجبور بودیم از میان 10 پایگاه نظامی مجاهدین و از مناطق و اقوام مختلف عبور کنیم. احساس میکردیم برای ما سرشکستگی است که رهبر ما را با چنین کفش های مردم ببینند. قضیه را جدی گرفتیم، همگی دست به یکی کردیم، حتی اگر شده به زور کفش های استاد را عوض میکنیم. هرچی باد آباد فشار می آوریم و مجبورش میکنیم. بالاخره پیروز شدیم. آنقدر حلقه محاصره و فشار را تنگ کردیم تا مجبور شد و راضی شد. دست به جیب برد و مقدار پول در آورد و به یکی از بچه ها داد. رو کرد به بچه ها و در حالی که دندانهای سفیدش از لابلای ریش و سبیل انبوهش دیده می شد خندید و گفت: امان از دست شما بچه ها، خرج ما را سنگین کردیم. به اولین ده که رسیدیم یک کفش پلاستیکی برای استاد خریدیم. وقتی کفش ها را به پایش پوشاندیم انگار پیروزی بزرگی به دست آورده بودیم. خاطره بود از یکی از همراهان استاد جناب حاجی غلام حیدر کاظمی که توسط حمزه واعظی نگارش شده. تشکر. It's the time to invite Marufa Alizadeh, a student of mechanical engineering, to deliver her speech. Please, Marufa Alizadeh.
Before anything, the deepest condolences to the family of Baba Mazari and his true followers who devoted his life for the sake of unity, justice, and brotherhood in Afghanistan. If Baba Mazari were to be alive today, how would things in Afghanistan be different for us? We must ask ourselves this question because this is why we are here today. We are gathered here today as a community to commemorate him for his sacrifices. One of his greatest achievements was to unite the people on a single political platform, despite the many political and ideological differences that we had. He equalized us with the other Afghans and gave us the courage and the self-confidence to stand up for what was ours. He was a Democrat and he promoted modern norms and values that back then were not a popular opinion to have. And that is what made him so unique and, without a doubt, the most effective leader in the history of Afghanistan. But when the interests of his people were not guaranteed, he had other ways to resist and protest. And he hoped to see an Afghanistan where everyone was equal regardless of their ethnicity or religion. And today, that has been achieved to a certain extent. Discrimination and exploitation lingers on in our country, but today, let's talk about the progress we Hazaras have had. The most visible ways that Hazaras have made rapid improvement is in the civil society, the educational society, and in the political fields. The Hazara ethnic group has had more growth than any other Afghani ethnic group there is. So when I decided to participate today and volunteer and come up here and share something to commemorate our community and Baba Mazari, I'm going to be honest, I went to Google for some help and I Googled articles on Hazara people. I was looking for a story or a spark of inspiration that I can, on something that had to do with our community or Baba Mazari. The top 3 articles were all positive things, and usually when you hear news on Hazara people, it has something to do with us being a minority group and the fact that we are constantly discriminated, abused, and killed. But to my surprise, the most popular ones were titled Afghanistan's Liberated Hazaras, Coming Up from the Bottom, and Hazaras Head of the Class. These are all positive things, and I'd like to summarize each article because they're so optimistic, and my goal for tonight is to make people in this room be proud of where they came from and understand that Baba Mazari was the start of a positive change in the history of Afghanistan. The most visible ways that Hazaras have had rapid improvements is in the civil society, the educational society, and in the political fields. In the civil society, Hazara people, we have established multiple cultural organizations, human rights groups, and service-oriented non-government organizations, NGOs. We have communities for sports clubs, cultural associations, and self-help groups. One of my favorite examples is Dr. Habiba Sarawi. We know her as the first female governor for any province in Afghanistan. She has been promoting women's rights from day one, and some of her accomplishments are being awarded a fellowship by the World Health Organization. And during the Taliban era, she was secretly educating Afghan girls. Dr. Sarawi did not only serve as the governor of Bamiyan, but she also served as the Minister of Women's Affairs and the Minister of Education and Culture. Today, she is one of the female deputies for the High Peace Council. And because of her and people like her, we have a community where Hazara people can go to for help, for support, and to find opportunities to succeed. The most dramatic area of Hazara achievements has been in education. This is because of the increase in school enrollments and the high pass rates among Hazara students who take the university entrance exams. According to the Ministry of Higher Education, since 2008, Bamyan and Daekundi have had the highest passing rates on entrance exams for the top universities. And they also said that girls from Bamyan and Daekundi have passed exams, have passed more exams than 10 Pashtun provinces combined. We Hazaras, we emphasize on educating girls as attentively as we educate our boys. And we have a stronger belief in gender equality. College-educated Hazaras, we are a growing presence in the Western offices in Kabul, and we have flooded the security forces, and now we are continuing to fill up more places within other influential professions. It was rarely believed that Hazaras would one day become a significant political and military force in Afghanistan. But the leadership of Baba Mazari and his Wahdat manifesto emphasized the continuation of the creation for an Islamic government that's based around equality, social justice, and brotherhood. And this was the first demand of its kind at that time. For the first time in history of the Hazaras and Afghanistan, there was a man who stood up and proudly claimed to be Hazara and fought for the rights of his fellow Hazaras. And he was taken seriously. While Baba Mazari was making marks in Kabul, it was vividly clear that Hazaras in Afghanistan and from abroad were starting to rally behind him. He had convinced the Hazaras around the world that Wahdat under his leadership could change the dark history of the Hazaras in the years to come. Baba Mazari for the Hazaras is what Gandhi was to the British Indians, what Martin Luther King Jr. was to the Black Americans, and what Nelson Mandela was to the South Africans. They were men with commitment, honesty, intuition, and charisma, whom we don't get a lot. We might not have the pleasure of having another Baba Mazari-like leader in years to come. Therefore, we must stand united behind the next best option we have and imply what Baba Mazari taught us. I would like to finish this speech with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which I really believe fits with our community and the Hazara people all over the world. First, they ignore you. Then they laugh at you. Then they fight you. Then you win. Thank you.
زنان از کلیه حقوق انسانی برخوردار هستند و می توانند در همه عرصه‌های حیات اجتماعی، سیاسی کشور فعال باشند، انتخاب شوند و انتخاب کنند. با سپاس فراوان از خانم معروفه علیزاده